Mia.
Hi, I'm Jan.
This is Perfectly Imperfect, and welcome to our podcast.
Hi, guys.
Today we're going to be talking about, I guess just like dating or like our idea of like matching up with a partner at some point.
How to do it successfully.
Yeah, you're not long out of stuff. I still think I'm not very long out of stuff. It still doesn't feel that long ago. Yeah. But yeah, the way we connect with people has definitely changed to the way it used to be before. People, it's not just dating, but people make friends that way online as well. I guess it's about all relationships and all connections.
So we've chatted about this, but is that the lazy man's way of dating? Is it you just choosing what you, because everybody's so expandable these days, it's just like, like next, I can do better. I can do it.
Or maybe I actually think the other way. I actually think it's more of a insecurity rather than it is a let's do better. I think by dating online, you get that there's like a space in between. You can be whoever you want online. You can be a totally different person. So and I do firmly believe that you are never the same person to someone. Yeah. But I think you get to narrate that much better online. I think my experience, we all talk about this all the time with all of our friends. We've all experienced different situations on dating apps, and we've also met people that have married, found their soulmates online as well. Yeah. It's a very mixed bag of reviews. I
do think they work. I would say that there's two cultures in the dating, on the online dating. There's a hookup.
And depends on the app you're on.
There's people that are basically just going there for sex, for a one-night stand. They're just going there. But then you've got the people that are also in relationships that are still going for a one-night stand, or the travellers.
There's nothing worse than signing on to an online dating and then seeing like your friends' husbands or partners. That is like the worst. That's what it used to be like back in the day until we got on that people would see them.
That's what Snapchat's like.
Snapchat is pretty much just the same. You're right.
And then you've got the people that are actually looking for relationships, and I feel like with the dating sites, I've been on dating sites. I went on for a short period of time, met someone and was in a year's relationship with them. So I've not really explored it that much. Will I go on a dating site when I'm ready to date? Probably, because that's how people do it. You don't catch your eye of a stranger across the room of a bar or a pub in or a restaurant anymore.
I don't know, but that's still very much how I like to do it.
I would love to do it like that.
I feel like I have enough blazing. Well, we all know I do, but I have enough in me to be like, that's still the way I want to connect with people. Yeah. The same way I'd want to be friends with someone. I'm like, oh, I like your vibe. I'm going to chat to you or talk to you. I would hope that for me, I would, if I was going to meet someone again, it would be more that way.
Yeah, I would love to meet someone like that, to be honest.
My personal experience of a lot of dating sites, especially the early days of my kids being young, I was at home with kids. I wasn't going out like everyone else was going out. So there was an accessibility of the fact that I could date maybe like other people. Did I really have the time? Not really. But I definitely tried, and my reasons for dating then versus my reasons for dating now also changed. I think we all want to grow old together with someone, I
think the tricky thing with dating sites is you have got no paper trail of that person. They present as something, and it can be anything. They can, you've got con men, you've got thieves, you've got avoidance.
But that happens in person too. Not long ago, I just experienced that nicest man on the planet didn't turn out to be so nice. It can flip in a switch of a situation. But the
funny thing is, I don't think half of them people that are on them dating sites that are jumping from relationship to relationship, chasing a high, which is basically dismissive avoidance, know that they're so self-aware that they do not realise that they're avoidance. They just keep doing it, searching for
something to fill them.
There's someone better out there.
Or just something to fill them up. And I think the thing is that the people that probably do that is like the people that just don't know themselves really well enough. Yeah. But I think you have to be quite a selfish person to enter into somebody's life to then, be like, well, that's not who I actually was to begin. Do you know what I mean? Like we're talking like that's like just full blown narcissism, really. Yeah. So,
but when you meet someone, like I am about connection and vibes, and a spark, like I come into contact with many, many people.
Falling in love is one of the best things to do. I mean, like, falling in love is absolutely, hands down, the best high you'll ever get. Do you know what I mean? Like, everybody wants that feeling of falling in love, and not many people get it. And I do think that when you do get it, you're really lucky to have experienced it.
Well, that's why people chase it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter how much hurt they've went through, they still go on and keep doing it. And
do you know what? It's exactly the same as, like, having children.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's the most horrific fucking thing, and sorry, shouldn't be swearing, horrific, painful thing you ever do.
But you just keep doing it.
But a year later, you forget the pain and you do it again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think nowadays, right, what is more acceptable, and I know a few friends and family members that have just basically said, I'm not dating anymore. That's me done. And they're not old.
No.
They just think, my life's better. I'm thriving without a man. I don't want my peace.
And also sometimes when you're not looking is when it comes.
Yeah. I don't want my peace unsettled. I'm not going to date anymore. And I know a few people that have lived a very long time now, and they're the happiest people that you meet.
But then, like, I mean, I would love to believe that that's the way, but 100%, like, girls have needs too.
Yeah.
So, like,
I
don't know if that would be, like, my, I do think genuinely as, like, human beings, we need company.
Yeah.
Company is important, like, and you may be able to fill, like, a lot of those pots or a lot of those cups up with yourself.
Vibrator.
And then your friends. Oh, vibrator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But but am I looking to date now? No. Will I date in the future, present, current future?
But what is dating now? I don't think anyone's been like, oh, hey, Mia, let's go for dinner.
Yeah.
That's not how dating happens these days. Like, it's just like...
Yeah. I'm far more
focused. Or is this not a thing?
I'm focused on my career. I'm focused on my family. But will I be by myself for the rest of my life? Definitely not. I love being in a relationship. I'm a hopeless romantic.
You are.
But when I am looking for a potential suitor, let's say, right?
Suitor, I like that.
Yeah.
That sounds so old-fashioned. A suitor.
Potential suitor. When I want to go courting. Back in the day, I don't go by looks. I don't go by age.
I don't either, but I'm going to start doing that from now on. Like, I just think...
I go by the vibe. I go by the connection. And to be honest, I don't really connect with that many people. I come in contact with a lot of men through my job, a lot of, through life. And it's just like, I almost feel like a nice queen. Like, I can see that they're trying to kind of flirt, and I'm just like, no. No. I don't get a spark very often. So when I get it, I kind of feel like, oh.
No, I'm with you on that. I think chemistry is, like, one of the most biggest importance, or for me, that's really what does it.
Yeah.
I don't get chemistry with everybody. Yeah. So if I do experience chemistry, I'm like, oh, I
want to explore this.
I want to see this. I want to explore this.
Yeah.
But I'm the same as you. It's not about the vanity. It's literally how that person carries themselves and to the depth of them.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of my problem in the past is I've always, like, shied away. Like, I've always been told that I'm too deep.
Yeah.
I've spent my whole life growing up being like, everyone's like, you think too deep. You're too deep. Just be more surface spinning.
No.
I mean, maybe now it is, but, like, people always call me wise Mia or so and stuff. It's just like I have so much depth to me, and I like to talk about that depth. But to find people to be able to talk about that depth, sometimes it can just be too much. I know I can be too much.
Yeah.
But
too much for the wrong people.
But that has taken me a long time to realise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas a lot of times I would hide that depth.
Yeah.
And I'd be, like, more
superficial,
surface, not super, but surface level.
Yeah.
Surface level. But that is just so not me. Like, I've tried. I can't be that way. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But what I have really learned recently, and through a hell of a lot of my best friend therapist, is that you really only can meet people where they are.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it is.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling all the, like, you'll meet people and then you'll be like, oh, this could be something or it couldn't be something. But really, it takes two active people to make something work.
Yeah.
And, like, actually sometimes when it passes or rejection happens, it's usually for a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think people fear rejection so hard, which I think a lot comes with the dating app, You can just like ghost these days.
Oh God!
You don't even have.
I've just had it happen after a year-long relationship.
You don't have to have the conversation. You can just ghost. You can just disappear. You don't. But you know,
it's raw.
It's raw, but it's also a shame that people don't have that. You know what? You're a great person. I'm a great person. But this is not working for me. And although the other person, it may hurt them in that instant moment, but also you don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you.
No.
Period. No one does.
I don't chase or attract.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you don't want to. So I think, you know, like a lot of mistakes will end up leading you probably to the right place.
Definitely.
And I'm a big firm believer that you should be able to hold yourself within rejection. And if rejection comes, and although it hurts and it sucks and it's not a nice thing to do,
you can grow from it.
You can grow from it, but it'll definitely put you on the path you're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are most fearful when it comes to dating apps and the swipe and the, you know, it's like you can get out of having a lot of really tricky conversations. You know, like you don't have to get that emotional or that deep. It can just be, oh, that person's gone.
And I think it's almost like a school. You're learning. You know, no one's going to meet the love of their life, or very small percentage is going to meet the love of their life on the first month of being on the dating app. I know a woman who went on 50 dates. And she actually circled back to one of her first dates right at the beginning, and she's in a relationship with him. You know, it's like a school. It's a learning. You're constantly. I was naive when I went on the dating apps because I logged on, made a profile, went to bed, and woke up and there was like 50 messages, and I just was like, oh, right, okay, what do I do here? It was a paid one, and then the person who I had just been in a relationship with messaged us back, very resonating of what I had put on my profile. And I was just like, oh, this person's made for me. So we had the connection and vibe. Looking back, I think I was a bit naive. I think you studied my profile.
I think 100%. I think you knew how to wheel you in.
I think you probably said the things, you know, my profile was quite obscure. You know, it wasn't like a love a dog and a Chinese on a Saturday night and paddleboarding on a Sunday, although we do.
Mine never said anything. Mine would just be blank.
Mine was very much about crystals and stargazing, and I think you just honed in on that, and I think that's the trap you can fall into. So how do women out there, because we've not done it yet, but we're working on it, how do you date successfully from these dating sites? How do you know, like, I know one thing
I don't,
is boundaries.
Maybe, but I don't know if I mean, from my last very long relationship, I swore myself I'd never go back on them. And I'm going to try hold that.
I will go back on them.
No, I'm going to try and hold it. I'm going to be like a hopeless, old school romantic that when it's ready to happen for me, it'll just happen for me and it'll just show up without me even knowing it's going to show up. And that may be a bit woohoo or hippie.
No, but we love a bit of
woohoo. Yeah, but for me, I just feel like, so personally, and I think this is what I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of friends when it comes to the dating app. I found them really, they made me feel really bad about myself.
Yeah.
I felt like every conversation that was had or every message that, I mean, like, first your looks are brought up. You know, you're matching people on
how they look
first and foremost. That's not how I generally do it in the real world. For me, it's definitely how that person walks, that person talks. It's how they deal with other people around them. So I can't see that. I can't measure that up when it's just a picture of a man on a dating app. I also think I was also extremely judged for having children. Yeah. You'd get the messages of like, how many dads, or like, you know, how young, or like, aren't your kids really expensive? Like, you know, I'd get like messages that would just, after you would like to say you're strong enough to not let these things affect you, but they did. They started to affect me. You're like, oh my God, who are these people?
Well,
but I don't even know. And it chips away at you slowly. So I think
you'd probably go there now differently because
I honestly believe that, like, that's not, maybe I would go there in a different, I mean, yes, I'm more self-assured of myself and stuff, but I still think it is a platform where people can be extremely misbehaved. Yeah. And there's no repercussions for it. I think the world is a dangerous place for women in general, and I get really sick of the narrative that it's not. Like, yearly we experience X amount of violence from men. I know I have. I don't like being in situations that will disturb my peace. So for me, going on a dating app, people can't see that. It's not watched other than that I can report it. And I don't have any plans with my PTSD to put me in scenarios where people can access me at home.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about the dating apps now. And that's just my own personal, I guess, experience of where I am in my life right now, is that to protect that peace in my home and my space, is that by opening an app, I'm letting these people into my house, into my safe space.
Yeah.
So,
because they're strangers.
They're strangers. Yeah. Everyone's a stranger. Yeah. And I have had some really horrible things happen on online dating, and not just like, I've known lots of horrible things happen to a lot of other people. So for me, I would be leaning definitely more to that. I'm just not. Yeah. That was a time and a place. It didn't work for me. I tried it. It did work in finding people, but ultimately the pendulum is more negative for me than positive. And that won't be everybody's experience.
I think I will have good when I'm ready, which will not be anytime soon, as in not because I'm broken or I'm not ready to date, because I will be. I'm too busy just now. I've got far too many things coming up, and I just haven't got room for a man. Do you know what I would like? But I'd like a lover.
Yeah, we all would.
I know, like someone that you could just be like,
our podcast don't text us good morning.
Don't text us good morning. I don't want a good night text. I don't want flowers. I can buy them myself. But do you want sex once a fortnight?
No, I want flowers.
Not casual sex. I'm not into that. But someone that you've got a connection with, that you can have sex, have a bit of chat, a Chinese takeaway, have a shower. I'll see you. I'll phone you when I'm free. And they just are all right with that. They don't want more. They don't want to move it on.
So you just want a connection, but like physical connection. You don't want emotional connection.
I want a connection. I want a physical connection. I also want an emotional connection, as in we can talk deep. I can find out about them. I can talk about the things I'm interested in.
But do you think you can actually do that, though?
I do.
Do you?
I genuinely do.
Because I have this thing. I'm quite good at being like because I'm very good at dissociating. I can dissociate in situations. So I have had like lovers before, especially like because no man is like coming near my children unless I think it's like a very long-term serious thing. So I am very good at but I do also know that like if you sleep with a man long enough, females generally start to get feelings. It's really hard to cut those feelings.
Because I've been
for men it's different. For men either love you or they don't love you. Yeah. And they can continue on having sex because it's like they need to do that.
I think, like I've only been intimate with two men in the last 20 years. One of them I was married to for 17 years, or together. So it's not like I'm like, I want to have wild sex. I want that connection. I want to talk. But I do not want to live with anybody. I'm far too busy. I've got far too many things going on in my life. I do not want a relationship. But I think nowadays it's okay to say...
Oh, no, I think any of all of that is really okay to say.
Yeah.
But I do, again, maybe being I don't know, maybe just being a hopeless romantic that way. I do honestly think that if you found the right person, that you would probably get, it wouldn't feel like, I think the problem for us is generally all of our relationships, maybe not just your approved. They've been taking a lot.
Yeah.
Past their welcome, taking a lot, giving a lot, giving a lot. So if ideally you experienced a partnership where the filling up of the cups were a little bit more equal, then it wouldn't feel like such a burden to have. You wouldn't have to not be busy to have a relationship. Does that make sense? It would just somehow slot fit.
What I learned from my last relationship which was with the dismissive avoidant, I didn't know. I was very naive to the fact is that your values and your boundaries are really important at the beginning. If I could go back to that first date with my avoidant ex, who was a lovely guy, by the way, and we gelled really well, but he could not commit. He just couldn't. And that's a part of him. If I could go back to that first date when we were chatting, I very much never really said anything. I let him talk, and he was very excitable and, a bit eccentric, which I loved. I love like neurodivergence. I do. I find it attractive. But he was very like, oh, my last relationship didn't work because she was a drinker. The time before that, she was a hothead. The time before that, they cheated. You know, it was all, he had stories for all his exes, and he openly, I bet
he didn't say what was wrong with himself.
Yeah.
No one's perfect. We all got our stuff.
The thing with that relationship is I did bring him into my home, and my son idolised him. And he was gutted when it ended. And that mum guilt that we've talked about, that was taken full force.
That's heartbreaking.
Because I know that I can get over a heartbreak easily. I know how to do it. But I've done it. But
no,
for a teenager...
I mean, my children experienced that from their own father, and then, which is why I've been so guarded to ever... So then even the fact that that was more... It was more heartbreaking for my children the second time round than the first time round. That person just did exactly what their dad had done to them, you know, and like...
Yeah, same.
And they knew that.
Abandonment
issues.
You
know, they knew that. Yeah. And I think that's what's scary, is that people just don't put the children or the people in front of themselves.
So I think what I've learned, and I think I will carry forward when I'm looking for my next person, my person, is values. If I could go back and look at that first date.
Values are important.
That person had never had a pet, and my life is pets. I love animals. That person had never owned a house. My security is my home, and I own it, and I pay for it myself. He'd floated from job to job. My career is everything, and my work ethic is immense. Now, you know, like building my future. So we weren't compatible.
No.
But he liked woo-woo, and I like woo-woo, and it was like, oh... But there's so much more than liking woo-woo. Because did he like woo-woo, or did he just like woo-woo because I had put it on the dating site? So I think values and boundaries are so important, and I think that's what I'll take forward.
But there could be a whole other sequence of podcasts based on dating apps when you go on them.
Yeah. Yeah, when we're both on them. Because I think
I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I'm staying strong.
Right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us and listening to our love life, which is...
you mean our non-existent love life, Jan?
Yeah, exactly. I'm Jan.
I'm Mia.
And this is Perfectly Imperfect. Catch you next time.
Bye.